In this episode of Travelogue, my journey through Linzhi Prefecture takes me from the edge of civilization to the untamed wilderness of the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon, one of the biggest canyons in the world. And what we'll find there is anyone's guess. Hey, welcome back to the Tibet mini-series. In this episode, we want to take the southern route heading east by following the Yarlung Tsangpo River all the way deep into the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon. I don't really know what to expect. I've heard that it's really beautiful here, but you know, it's all a part of the suspense. So, welcome back to Travelogue. I'm Tianran, and welcome back to Linzhi in the Tibet Autonomous Region. You might not have heard of it before, but the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon is justly named. At over 500 kilometers long, it's bigger than its famous American cousin, and is quite possibly the largest and deepest canyon in the world. So you can't blame me for wanting to explore it. So, got a bit of a traffic jam here. Everyone is waiting to get on the one barge that will take us, car and person, across the river to the other bank, where we can then head on to Pai Town, which is the entrance to the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon. But as for now, it's just a bit of a waiting game. 就是一辆船哈，哇，那边也有，哎，咱们不能从那边上吗？ 坏了吧？你们也是去拍这里是吧？哦，住在那边啊？就是，哇，多好的地方！那咱们得等很久吗？能等1个小时。吃饭了吗？吃饭了就行了，要不然咱们得，哎呀，等着都饿坏了。Guess we just wait. Might as well take a seat. Wait for the boat to come. It looks like we're just going to have to be patient here. Despite the long waiting times and the small matter of the 50 RMB per car, this is still the best way to cross the river, since the road to Pai Town takes a long and winding way round. Plus, here you have a chance to chat to other travellers and get updates on where you're heading. A bit like the village news. Finally, we're inching along. Earlier, I spoke to these locals sitting in the back of the tractor, and they told me they're returning to Pai after completing their pilgrimage to Benru Mountain. They might not have had the best of conditions on the road, but that hasn't made them any less pious. So we saw the barge go across earlier with that one jeep, and they only had really space for one car. But I guess you could squeeze a bit more. We are probably next in line, so we should get back onto the car soon. That'll be our car. So there we go. Guess I'll see you guys at the other side then. 我天哪，这车那么沉！哦，动了，来来来，1、2、3，再冲一下。There we go. So despite it being easier these days to get across the river, you still have to put a lot of manual labour into getting the barge actually up and off the sandbank. But there we are. Just in a matter of a couple of minutes we'll be on the other side and well on our way to Pai Town. Now that we've crossed over, it's just another 10 kilometers to Pai, which sits at the mouth of the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon. It's an important tourist hub for all the nearby scenic spots, and is itself quite popular in spring, thanks to its peach blossoms. So we've just arrived in Pai town, and we rushed up to this viewing platform straight away to come and get a look at Namchak Bawa Peak. Unfortunately, it's a bit cloudy today, a bit of rain, so it's completely covered. But we've still got a couple of days left, so hopefully we'll get to see the famous golden light spread over Namchak Bawa Peak that is usually here in the afternoon, if we're lucky. Besides being the eastern anchor of the Himalayas, Namchak Bawa also essentially holds together the Eurasian and Indian plates. It's sacred to the locals, who must only speak the truth when in front of it. Right, arrived in Pai Town at last. Looks like the weather's taken a bit of a turn for the worse. It looks like it's going to start raining soon. So the first thing we've got to do is grab all of our luggage and get into the hotel. So we booked ahead and found this international hostel over here. That's a part of the YHA and apparently it has some English. So going to check out what the environment's going to be like for the next couple of days. This is really heavy. Okay. Merci. 哎，您好。哎，你好。哎，是老板吧？对。哎，你好，你好。那个我订的那个房间是哪号？
你稍等啊，给你查一下。叫什么名字啊？
何天然。Welcome to my abode. Wow. Nice, nice. Let's see. Grab the light. This is, I've got to say, this is pretty swish. I mean, it is quite well equipped for a youth hostel, eh? It's more flashbacker, I think, than it is. I mean, look at the bed. That's pretty awesome. You got all of the basic necessities, eh? And the bathroom looks pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go and get all my stuff out, and I'll see you guys later. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. All right. See you guys in a bit. After I was done freshening up, I bumped into a backpacker worker here. 哎，你刚才说是你来这儿多久了呀？1个月。1个月？你是来实习了还是？就是做义工，然后顺便拍个纪录片。是吧？你在大学学的什么呀？我在大学学的广播电视编导。哦，然后就过来正好旅游，然后呢，工作也完成了是吧？对对对。咱们现在为什么得烧柴火？因为就是泰镇这边它就是电，它经常不稳定，因为它都从81台那个接过来的，所以这个取暖啊，或者是这个烧水，一般还是借助这个要柴。哇，那就等于是咱们晚上可以洗热水澡，可早上就洗不了热水澡了。对，早上就只能晚上。算了。Gotta love the mornings, eh? We actually came out pretty early today to see if we can grab a glimpse of Namchak Bawa Peak. Doesn't look very likely because it was raining last night and there's a lot of cloud cover. But it doesn't mean that there's nothing else to see. I mean, all along the way, there are loads of these beautiful little villages that are just completely picturesque. And with the clouds lying so low, it really does look like we're at the top of the world over here. Early mornings here are the best. Everything is just so still, and it feels like the entire place is yours. There's no rush or rat race here, and the only commute you'll likely see the locals doing is their morning circumambulation around the places of worship. We got really excited for a moment there. We were filming the fields beneath, and then suddenly the clouds above started parting. They started rolling down the hill, and we could see the outline of a snow-capped mountain, and we all started shouting. We were like, "Oh my God, it's Nanjia Bawa Peak!" And we were waiting there with cameras ready. Our eyes weren't even blinking, and it looked incredible. It was as if, the peak suddenly arose out of the clouds. And then a farmer passed by, and he said, no, you got it wrong. That's not Nanjia Bawa Peak. Nanjia Bawa Peak is over there. That is Nala Mountain. So yeah, that was a bit of a downer, but still, mountains are mountains, it was still gorgeous. Just hope that we get the same kind of luck up at the viewing platform from Nanjia Bawa. One of the better places for mountain viewing is the photogenic Sorsong village, nestled up on the cliffs. It's famous for its peach blossoms that turn the entire village pink, and gets its fair share of visitors. Thankfully, Sorsong hasn't turned into a tourist boomtown, so you can still experience authentic sleepy Tibetan village life while you soak in the views. I'm just waiting for the peak of Nanjia Bawa to reveal itself, which doesn't seem like it happens very often actually. So if you also want to come and have a look at the peak, I recommend coming here to Sorsong village, because of the 30 households here, 4 of them have guest houses, and this one probably has the best view of the peak. But it takes a long time for it to reveal itself, so probably the best thing to do is just to wait here, stay a couple days and try your luck. While waiting, I bumped into a nice fellow working here who goes by the name of Free. I get the feeling he likes this place.
哇，谢谢。这是什么东西？听着像你不是这儿当地人哈？
啊，对，我上海过来的。
哇，你在这儿待多久了？
快1年了吧。
1年。哇，那几乎见了无数次南迦巴瓦了吧？
对，很多次了。
一般什么时候，哪个季节最好？
如果是像傍晚日照金山的话，一般都是在冬天，深秋的时候，都会比较漂亮的。
那我们这个季节呢？
现在这个季节的话，因为春天的时候雨水比较多嘛，相对看到的几率会小一些。
I hate to say it, but I think we're just flat out of luck. I guess maybe I'm not pious enough. They say that Nanjia Bawa only reveals itself to people who are pure of heart. I guess I'm not. More likely it's an issue with the weather, but you can only really wait so long. Alas, it's time for us to cut our losses and continue on to the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon proper. Hey, morning. So today's the big day. It was raining a bit last night, so we're going to have to be careful. We're going to trek through the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon today. Because it rained last night, we have to be a bit careful with where we step, because there will be, muddy bits, or hopefully not, landslides or anything. And who knows what will happen. But we have a guide, which is definitely needed, because you see here, a lot of people go missing here. You have to be very careful. This girl, 24 years old, was hiking with 2 other friends just a couple of days ago, and they went over a mountain and they never came back. They didn't have a guide. So yeah, be careful, be careful. We should be alright though, because we have a professional. So today our guide is a lovely gentleman Nima here, who is going to be taking us into the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon. Nima, 您刚才跟我们说那个咱们今天路线是怎么走来着？
今天的路就是那个下面挂树台上去那个来回3个小时的路嘛。
3个小时，来回3个小时。哦，那还行。
We're just taking a short route today. The full trek requires 29 days to complete. Yeah, I don't think I really have the energy to walk for 29 days to go all the way inside the Grand Canyon. Also, we haven't brought any tents or anything. We just want to go in a little bit and see what's there, and then live to tell the tale, really. The road leading in is narrow and rocky, so I'd recommend both a local guide and driver who know the lay of the land. Your guest house will be able to put you in touch with the right people.
Gotta love the smell of fresh forest in the morning. You know, this Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon area is home to so much biodiversity, so much flower and fauna, that some of them don't even have names yet, you know. A lot of people come in here to do trekking, and I think this is really the best place to be, because now that you have this road going through, you can kind of see how things... You can go through an area that has pretty much stayed unchanged through the years, maybe thousands of years, maybe millennia, and this is the best kind of trekking you could do, to see nature at its best.
Moving on, we're heading to the tiny village of Jiala, more of an outpost than a settlement, where we'll begin the trek proper.
Our actual route is over there, but we have to stop here, make a small detour, because there's something really fascinating here. This is the Yarlung Tsangpo River, and across it is a lamasery, and above a very sacred waterfall where spirits are supposed to go after they die. But first you cross this river with this boat, and it's exactly like crossing the River Styx.
This is completely out of the blue, and we'd never have known this place existed if our Tibetan colleagues hadn't pointed it out to us.
It's really quite amazing. I mean, this is it's spring right now, right? And it's always in summer that the water is at its highest. But look how huge the volume of water is that's falling down. I mean, Nima told me that he doesn't know how long the monastery has been up there. It's been there for probably thousands of years. You know, spirits are much older than we are. And it's totally imaginable that in those times, when people come across such a huge waterfall, that they kind of apply a spiritual kind of ideology to it.
Nima says the god of death lives here, and pilgrims from all across Tibet come here to meet him and pray for a better afterlife.
So the waterfall we saw just over there wasn't actually the one that is essentially like going into purgatory. It's actually all the way right up there. So we now need to make the journey to this realm of the spirits. It was a bit of a tiring climb, it's fine. People say what's really interesting is, as you're climbing, everyone will have a different experience. Some people will see maybe spirits, some might see a rainbow, and in fact one of our team already saw a rainbow when none of us saw a rainbow. But apparently, what you're thinking in your heart comes out. So along the way up, I don't know what I'll see. I'll probably see some food because I'm really hungry, but have to experience it myself. Slightly more difficult for the living, hey? Wow. Oh, wow.
I find this place to be a massive culture shock. In the Western Hemisphere, the idea of trespassing on the domain of the god of death would send most people running for the hills. Yet Tibetans will gladly come here. So strong is the belief in the afterlife in Tibetan Buddhism.
I mean, if you look at the waterfall now, it might not seem as impressive as some other waterfalls you might have seen in your life. But Nima told me earlier that back in the days, this was a long time ago, and during summer when water's at its fullest, the waterfall would be so strong that standing here, even back over there, you would feel the entire earth trembling beneath your feet. And standing here, the water would be splashing onto your face, and there would be a cloud of mist from the force of the water falling on the rocks below. And I guess for them it was a bit like being blessed. Every time they were splashed by the water, perhaps it was them being blessed by this gatekeeper of the next world. And what I think is really interesting is if you look over there, the hole that the water comes out from is circular, and it looks like this. And to me, it looks very much like a door, exactly like a gateway to something else right over there.
Judging by the rosaries, many pilgrims have come here, including several High Lamas. And just as we're about to leave, a sign. Perhaps we were blessed after all. After the waterfall, most head up to the monastery, but something caught my eye.
So I was asking people on the climb up here if anyone knew about the history of this place, how long this waterfall has been here, how long this legend of the gatekeeper of the afterworld has been here. Nobody knew. They couldn't tell me. They said it was too ancient, but they said there was this stone tablet up here that talks about this place's history. Unfortunately, no one can read this because all of this text is too ancient. So the mystery remains unsolved, and perhaps it never will be solved.
As for us, we need to hurry back. The waves are getting too big, and we don't want to be stuck on this island of spirits.
Right, we've eaten well, had our break. Now we have to go trekking. Can't take the cars anymore, we have to leave them here at Yala village. And now it's just that way.
If it looks like we're under-equipped, that's because we're only going out for a short walk. Serious hikers should take note. The Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon is not to be underestimated. It's the main path through which humid Indian Ocean winds reach Tibet, meaning the climate here ranges from subtropical to Arctic. You'll have to bring enough equipment to tackle anything from tropical forests to glaciers and frozen rivers, not to mention wild animals. You don't want to be caught off guard here.
A couple of our crew are a bit lost. They were behind us, but we walk a bit fast, I think. So just gonna wait to take in the...
Despite the thin air and the lack of marked trails, hiking here is simply exhilarating. Below, the Everest of rivers, the Yarlung Tsangpo, roars past you on its way towards India, while all around you rise ancient forests and shrouded white peaks. Remember that you're trekking through the habitat of many undisturbed and possibly unknown species of animals and plants, and you'll realise that this place is perhaps one of the world's last great wildernesses.
Well, you know, there are 4 trekking routes along the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon. The first one goes to Lulong, the second to Mortal, the third goes to the base camp of the Nantrabawa Peak, and the fourth goes to Burmi, which is the one that I've taken. But I can't go any further. It takes 20-something days to get to Burmi, and I just don't have the time. Behind me, the Yarlung Tsangpo River has turned into rapids, and it's going to head downstream from here. I can't follow it anymore. I have to go up and around the mountains, but it's been one hell of a ride, hey?
We've walked but a tiny fraction of the way in, and already the environment has gotten colder, wilder. While fording a stream, our cameraman slipped and dislocated his finger. To prevent further accidents, Nemo waded in and built us a bridge out of rocks. It's exactly this sort of genuine kindness that symbolises the people of Tibet. It's the final day and time for us to leave Pai Town, but there's one more surprise left in store for us.
what can I say? 4 days. 4 days we have stayed here to wait for this. And finally, on the final day before we leave, Nandya Bawa shows itself. I mean, it's immense, isn't it? And we're just standing here. It feels like I'm being overpowered by the sheer force of the mountain. But wow, I mean, we got it in the end. It has been an incredible journey, and our destination is right in front of our eyes. I'm so happy. Everything is complete, 100%. And I hope you've enjoyed watching this journey as much as I have making it. I'm Tianran, and you've been watching Travelogue.